the meeting to order this evening. The Board of Sewer and Water Commission for the Town of Walpole, the date being March 10th. We're meeting at the E.J. Delaney Treatment Plant in Walpole on Washington Street. There's a posted agenda for this meeting. And starting off, the first thing we're going to do is look at the minutes from February 24th. I find my minutes here. We have any comments or questions about the minutes?
I didn't see anything.
Patrick?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of February 24th.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And abstain. 301. And then we have a superintendent's report.
Good evening. I distributed a copy to everyone here. The road crew worked through finishing a repair on Michaela's Way off of Washington Street on February 26th. This leak was trickier than other leaks for us. The service was sleeved in PVC, so every time we tracked it with noise, we were getting false readings because the sound was different than when the water was actually coming out. But we got it, and we pulled a whole new service to the existing PVC. We got that squared away. A non-working hydrant on Jones Landing replaced on March 5th. This was a complete hydrant replacement.
Could I just ask,
Yes.
the non-working hydrant, can we send that to Governor Gavin Newsom of California? He likes non-working water hydrants.
No.
No, we can't do that. We
How
gotta-
did we find that it was not working?
That I do not know. I know it was on the list for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I know it was flagged for repair and eventually replacement. But I will find that out and get to you.
Just curious as to how and do we have others?
We have one more that's on schedule. We're hoping for this week.
Yeah.
And then at this current time, that's all the out-of-service hydrants in town.
Do we have inventory of all the fire hydrants?
We have an inventory of all active fire hydrants in town. Right now, one of my goals this spring is to actively go through each hydrant. And what I call is like a function check, make sure it opens, drains, and functions the way it should be.
And painted. There are some that I know are pretty sad shape. I know off of Cedar Street, Conifer, up in that neighborhood, I remember there were some that were
Paint-wise?
terribly, they were
Yes,
basically just rough.
Yeah, and what I found over the years is, the town uses straight salt,
Yeah.
for snow operations, and the hydrants are all on the side of the road, so they're really
Yeah.
getting beat with that salt. Like, that's part of the reason why we're seeing such a poor shape, But we're working to address that. Rick, Scott, and myself met with our consultants, Wright Pierce, on our lead service inventory grant. Last October, the state was offering a complete repayment grant for getting our lead service inventory and complying with the new regulation that came out this past year or late last year. We just submitted a reimbursement package for $70,099. So that check is gonna be incoming. We still have money left to go on the grant. The grant was for $140,000. So we've completed the major objectives. So right now, we're coming up with some more objectives to take full advantage of this, fully reimbursable grant.
Good.
So I'll update once we have the objectives updated. We're looking at possibly some GIS mapping and some more intercoordination, so all these sites can, I'm hoping, be tied to billing, so as we transition in the future, all the data is movable and not just stuck in one Excel spreadsheet or one PDF document.
What did we find with the $70,000? I mean, or
Well,
did we
so.
find lead
So,
services? or-
I believe there was only a couple, if a couple we found and we replaced. The major part of it was doing the inventory and complying with the regulation by the deadline.
The inventories were the pipes.
For the water service pipelines, yes, from the main to actual the meter. So there's two parts of the new regulation. You have to identify lead on the homeowner side and the town side from the curb stop to the main. So us having 8,500 services, you know, a lot of that was going through our records and trying to classify what was what. And I'm sure you guys remember the letter that went
Yeah.
out a few months ago.
So if there's a pattern on a street where all the services on the town side have lead, it's likely to assume that that whole,
If those houses are from the same age, I would assume that, but we have not seen anything like that where, like, for instance, there's a street with 5 lead services. We haven't even found, I believe, there were just a couple that were found through records.
but there are areas of town where you do still have the lead pipes in the street.
No, I believe, according to our records, most of them have been updated over the years. There was a period, I believe, before we got our pH adjustment kind of on track, where we were replacing many services every year, and that's when a majority of them got swapped out because they rotted out. But part of this inventory is the state has set up parameters out that we have to abide by in order to get in line. So it's a pretty complicated method to analyzing your whole system. I sent an email out to you guys last week. On Monday, March 3rd, we had 4 total coliform positive, E. coli negative results. We followed up, once notified, of our repeat sampling procedures, which is 12 total samples. 1 sample came back at a downstream location at Dunkin' Donuts that was still positive for total coliform, negative for E. coli. The other 11 samples were both negative total coliform, negative E. coli. I talked with our state representative, and she informed us that we satisfied all the requirements, and with the new revised total coliform ruling, that we did not have to resample. Today, we did resample normally the Dunkin' Donuts, Town Hall, and our other distribution sites. We'll be notified, if anything's wrong, we'll be notified tomorrow, and I'm gonna follow up to make sure everything is okay tomorrow. Also to note, we raised disinfection levels coming out of the water plants, raising the chlorine, and we also remedial flushed in the Dunkin' Donuts area to move some fresh water into that area. Washington Well 2B just finished its cleaning and development. It's routine maintenance for the well. We are running through startup procedures this week, and we hope to have it online end of this week, and we're hoping to get a couple more wells cleaned before we actually move into our busy season here in a couple months.
Okay?
And that's all the updates.
Mr. Chairman, I have 3 things. Michaela's Way, isn't that kind of a new street?
It's a private way, so it's a newer house down on the end. I believe the house, if you're looking at it from Washington, there's a service that there's a house on the right. But when they built the new house, I believe that's when they put that PVC in that.
Tell me about that. I'm envisioning a copper pipe that inside a PVC pipe?
Yes, it was a 1-inch copper pipe, and the PVC was probably 2 inches.
Why would they do that? I've never seen that, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't have the construction notes when they found it or on hand. I mean, it is done occasionally. I don't know if they pulled it somehow.
What would be the reason for that? It's a conduit, basically, you're saying?
A conduit, yeah.
Yeah, I know they do it for electricity, but I don't ever recall pulling copper through. Just curious, okay. I'll make the second thing is, you know the extra money they have left over that you've been so efficient, that you've managed to save? And can that be used for
Well-
something else?
Well, I wouldn't say it would be efficient, so we put in for the max amount we thought we could use the grant.
Okay. Can it be used for something else?
No, this is specifically tied to lead service inventory.
Okay, all right. There are some homeowners who need to replace their service line. Could that money help them?
So this is strictly planning money. This is not a lead service line replacement.
No, I know it isn't, but I'm saying if there's people who need to have that line replaced, that goes from the sidewalk to their house, that can't be used to help them?
So this grant that we apply for,
Especially if it's lead.
well, so again, this grant that we applied for is only for planning.
I know that. But sometimes the fine print gives you
I-
some leeway.
I can inquire, but at this time, we are not aware of any lead services.
All right, you're a strict constructionist, I understand, okay. The next one is, the hydrants we're talking about. The summer and they look terrible. But we had a program before you became superintendent, where during the summer, I think they hired part-time, college students or high school kids, and they repainted, or they painted the hydrants. And, I see red hydrants that have been there since the contractors put them in. Having grubby hydrants, right, it just makes the town look kind of seedy. Is there any program that might renew the old program of painting these hydrants during the summer?
So right now, my priority is going through all of our hydrants, confirming that they're all working or if anything needs to be repaired. Next step after that, after we inventory them all, we'll have a good count on, which sections are worst and kind of tackle it from there, yes.
Yeah, you never answered you're getting good. You never answered my question.
Well, there might be
We
a
don't
que-
have a program, is that true?
There might be a question, I think that.
My question was, do we have a program to repaint the hydrants?
Well, let me give you a piece of information. I believe the fire department thinks it's their domain to paint the hydrants.
No, when we have time, we do paint hydrants. Oftentimes, we're multitasking different things. And, so when we do have the time, we are painting hydrants.
Could you look into a program to paint the hydrants?
Of course, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a suggestion. All the fire hydrants, I think we need inventory, and we need a kind of subcategory of your budgeting to figure out how much are we spending on maintenance or, repairs of the fire hydrants.
So right now, all maintenance is within the operating budget.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yep.
Subcategory just for the fire hydrants. And the reason is, the town charges the water board a chargeback fees for, using, let's say, town hall buildings or something common services. But water board provides the fire hydrant services to the public free of cost or within the budget. Most of other water boards, they do charge a fixed amount of fees to the town, different towns, to maintain those fire hydrants. So I don't think it's happening now in Walpole, but we need to track the cost of fire hydrants within the town of Walpole
Okay.
for future purpose. Do you agree, Chairman?
Sounds good? Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Petrosi isn't here yet, so I guess I'll take this up. I have an announcement, an unfortunate announcement and a motion. Within the last 10 days, unfortunately, there was an unimaginable, heartbreaking incident the death and passing of Rick Mattson the third, 39-year-old, who left us far too soon in a tragic work accident, doing something that he loved throughout his business career, tree work. He had been in the business for some 20 years and had been a master at this, and he more recently had been working with the town of Walpole for over 10 years and established incredible friendships and been intensely involved in many of the activities of the DPW and the water department. He was an athlete, a coach, a father, a wonderful young man whose life ended way too soon. So obviously he is Rick Mattson the third. Rick Mattson the second is his father, who we all know and work with for many, many years. I move that the Walpole Sewer and Water Commissioners hereby authorize the department pay for the acquisition of both a suitable tree along with an appropriate recognition placard to be placed and installed at a suitable location, either on the lot of the premises of the E.J. Delaney Treatment Facility or at a desired location at Jarvis Farm. Such action is to be in the memory and recognition of Mr. Ricky E. Mattson III. I further ask that you authorize the chairman to coordinate this action with the DPW department, the tree warden, and the family. So that's a motion.
Oh, okay. I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion?
No, just our condolences to the Ricks and family. It's very sad news. We have conveyed our messages individually to him. Hopefully, we'll see him back here soon.
Right. Okay, thank you all. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's 400. All right, we have, we're a little bit, Mr. Petrosi may be coming. Why don't we move to correspondence? There's a will serve letter in here. And Rick Mattson had signed this.
And Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I really have never seen one of these before for some reason, but that's okay. What's the project? Is it 19 East Street? Is that the project?
Yes.
919 East Street, I believe it's a discussion item last meeting. I'm looking at it. You guys voted 201. This is specifically because the developer was requesting this letter, we think in part for his financing.
Okay. Because we don't usually do that.
It's a new thing. They're gonna be doing this now, apparently.
Because of the banks and
Banks
things?
require, they don't want to invest $2 million and find out the town doesn't have water.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay, very good.
okay, so we're good with that.
And this is the 4-story building, multifamily, 102 units.
Yes.
So that'll all go to the planning board. We don't know
Yeah, I
what'll
just want to
happen with
confirm
it.
because I was not in the last meeting.
Oh, yeah, it's 4 buildings. They purchased like 5 lots downtown there. A little shopping plaza, et cetera. Okay, then we have the Optima site plan decision, correspondence 2. It says site plan decision for the case. Is this an FYI, or is this something that?
Page 4, special conditions are the newest updates.
But this is the planning board telling us of their decision.
Page 4, they're not marked.
If you want to discuss it, I'll turn it over to Pardeep, because I do know Mr. Matz to for Dave Wyluka, the petitioner.
So what is it on the page for?
I don't know. I mean, they've already made their decision
I think
based
it's-
on, what we've had our input and, so I don't know what one would do since they've already decided. We get these periodically,
Okay.
the decision.
This is in the new MBTA zone,
No,
Pradeep?
No, this is 990
this is out on
Boston.
Route 1, it's
Route
behind
1.
Applebee's. I
Yes,
believe.
it's the Chili's, it's the hotel.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right, I'm thinking of the other one there, yeah, okay. This is,
The bank and
on the Sharon
the
line.
retail.
yeah, next to Applebee's.
Yeah, special conditions number 2 look like I to me.
Inspections, yes. And repairs,
Right?
yes.
And what's our I policy right now?
Which one are you talking, Pat? Is it
Page
Page
3.
4.
Page 4,
Special
special conditions.
condition.
special conditions?
Number 2.
Oh, okay.
Step back if you're discussing. I don't wanna be involved in-
So, in anticipation of increased flows, existing sewer line and manholes to be cleaned and televised and inspected on site prior to adding any flow from proposed buildings. So,
So-
is it done for all the projects or this is special condition?
So, this is a bigger project with bigger flows, so there was modeling done in conjunction with this. So part of the modeling, shows that at peak flows, there may be, issues with the whole pipe handling the flow. So part of this is the special condition number 2.
And how are we gonna fund that?
The developers.
We're not funding this.
So the developer is funding it?
This is a special condition on the developer, yes.
Okay, he's gonna have to, funded by the owner. Okay, all right, that's fine, that's even better, okay. In other words, it's gonna, if he puts in a gallon, he finds a gallon to take out
Well, I think it's,
from
well,
I.
I think he inspects and repairs any deficiencies.
Well, that's what I just said.
He's not obligating to remove any, it's
Well-
run a camera down there. If you
When-
find that there's a capacity issue, he's gotta fix the capacity. issue.
When you repair something, you stop the inflow and, So
I
therefore,
think the issue, because
you're
when
keeping a
they
gallon out that
initially,
would be there.
when they initially proposed it, I seem to recall that it was off-site, that they're down in Pleasant Street or something area that, and it was determined that adding this additional flow was not going to leak out or anything from the pipe. It was going, the capacity of the pipe was the issue. And that's by televising, doing an inspection via television, and if it turns out that there is not capacity with their existing, they would have to address it. But it's not an issue of inflow.
If you exceed the capacity of the pipe, the sewage will flow out. Guaranteed. So, what I'm saying is he's got to repair the pipe. He has to stop the inflow and,
It says
any other water
any
that might be
defects to
coming
be
in.
repaired prior to any new building starting.
Yeah, all right, and I also have one more thing that bothers me. If you remember the site plan, there's this ancillary building. I think it has, I forget what's in it. It might be the marijuana store. But, and it's connected to our sewer and water. I'm worried that that building, there's nothing to prevent him from adding on to that little building, which is not that little, and using more capacity of our water and sewer. I don't see anything that says that he can't, make modifications to the building.
I believe there's a gallon per day and a gallon per year cap related to that building. I believe Rick gave you an updated copy of the contract. didn't he?
Yeah, I know, you know how thick that is?
I think it was like 25 pages.
Yeah, yeah. And anything could be in there. There could be a release of me selling my house to,
But no, but
to you.
it specifically says the gallons per day, gallons per year.
Yeah,
I think it was based on the building they stated in the Title V.
yeah. And does the flow that they put in match the flow for the buildings as they exist now? That's the question. And how would I know that?
I don't think there's anything existing now, correct?
Well, there's gonna be existing on the plan.
Well, it's the Chili's is going down, the hotel is going up, and there's gonna be a new building in the back, correct?
Chili's.
Well,
not-
Chili's, where's
This is an
Chili's?
Applebee's.
Applebee's.
Applebee's, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Applebee's, gonna-
Hotel is coming up, yeah.
the part I heard was that Applebee's is gonna stay there,
It's staying
Yes.
there, yeah.
Is it, okay.
huh?
Is it gonna stay? Okay.
It's staying, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
the
so,
new
okay,
thing-
it's not gonna go anyplace. All right, that's my part that I worry about that.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
So are we done with the discussion on this line item?
It's on the record.
Okay. Shall we move to 3 with the following?
But I like that, I like number 2, I like the wording on that,
Yeah.
because
special
we should
condition
probably, anybody who has a project, we should include that wording.
for-
Since we don't have an I&I policy, let them find all the leaks they need to accommodate what they're putting in.
Yeah,
Did you get my email?
INI policy,
Okay.
So, number 3 is 2025 Spring Town Meeting zoning articles.
Zoning board is just informing us that they're going to have a public hearing on these articles. I don't see that any of them are related to us, but
They don't give much detail, do they?
No.
I mean, you couldn't, how would you know? You'd have to have 3 books in front of you and a videotape of the last meeting or something. You call it blind faith.
well, you can, if one has some interest in any of the zoning articles, you'd want to attend the planning board's public hearing on the 3rd, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I would say for town meeting members, I think the burden should be on the applicants, the
Yeah.
zoning board, to give a proper presentation at town
And-
meeting with
And they will be
videos.
just asked,
and-
what was the vote by the planning board, and.
Yeah, that's all we get there is
That's it, yeah, I agree.
77732, 111-444, okay, done. Okay, anything else on that?
No.
Okay, John's septic account,
What does that mean?
that's the name of the company.
the,
John's John?
It's
Yeah,
a
like,
septic hauler.
Like a bathroom, John's
Okay, I got it.
bathroom.
I got it.
Yes, John Septic's, they're a septic hauler that hasn't been back since 2021. We believe they are out of business. This is more, accounting needs a vote from you guys, so we can go ahead and write it off and clear the books from these years. We will be making a note up in the office, if he does ever get back in business and want to reapply, that he's gonna have to square up on this.
I think he went in the pizza business, Papa John's.
So I'll make a motion that we approve of the write-off of the $229.50.
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay, 301.
We let Lisa know.
Okay, now we have some of our usual discussions. The MWRA water connection of people, I guess I would ask, I started to write that letter to Administrator Jim Johnson and the Town of Norwood Administrator. I just want to confirm that I spoke to Jim Johnson, and he seems to be focused on us letting the selectmen know, or he's let the selectmen know that we voted to go with the Mylard site. Okay? But in the letter, I want to establish our vote was quite precise, that we were approving the $5 million agreement to be crafted between Norwood and Walpole in regard to the MWRA hookup, if we get that far to get approval, and to specify that we, Norwood's counter proposal us was the 20% wheeling and the 5 million as opposed to the 4.5 or 9 million that they initially started off with. I just want to get that stake in the ground. I don't want them to start negotiating the price up higher, because I think that our interest, Patrick, is to fund that fee, that $5 million fee over 20 years by an annual $250,000 payment to Norwood, funded by ratepayers as an infrastructure annual fee that Rick Mattson had discussed, approximately $30 or $32, something like that, that would go on in time. And that way, we're not having any borrowing for that part of it. That'll be an ongoing, revenue and cost thing.
Well, it is, it's the cost of water.
Yeah, so that's linear. The town administration sometimes likes the financing, but the financing could be on the actual building of the pump house itself, the pump station. And I'm also, this is internal, it has nothing to do with Norwood, but I would just say, my thoughts are that we have $2 million a year that we dedicate to new water line replacement. And I think when we're ready to hook that up, instead of we're already borrowing money for water line replacement, we just use that 1 year's money to hook that water line up. And that just pushes our 100-year revolving water line system back 1 year. And again, we're not borrowing any new money, we're borrowing existing money. So that minimizes the impact of this whole project. I just want to make sure that, I'm going to try to communicate that so there's no misunderstandings once the two town administrators.
Are you putting this in now as a motion that how would you work this?
Well, we already had a motion to that
I know,
effect.
but
I'm just
but
giving
now
you
you're talking
details
about
of
the
the letter.
financing
Yeah,
of it. So, do you want to add that to it?
yeah, I mean, I would just say that.
That sounds important.
The content of that letter would memorialize our agreement on the 5 million and the 250 a year, and those funds are gonna be raised as a capital infrastructure improvement fee, and that the wheeling would be no more than 20%, and that the piping for connect the Mylard pump station to Norwood would be, to the degree we can, and bundled in our annual $2 million water pipeline, new pool pipeline program.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay?
I have some inputs. I think the numbers whenever we talk is fluid, but when we get actual numbers from the town administrator, the rate increase numbers are totally different, and that scares me. And until I see a written document from the town administrator about the total project cost, the rate increase, and how it will be funded, I'll be against this, funding discussion, or to vote against this particular project. I want a return and confirm numbers from the town before I vote personally on this matter.
I understand.
I'd like that we run it by Jody. She may have some ideas, you know, in addition to what you're suggesting, that be worthwhile to get her input on this.
Okay, so you're wanting to defer this, or?
Well, I think the letter that you were writing, you know, can have the general comments that you've mentioned to us. You know, that we're talking, Mylod, that we're talking the $5 million improvements, and I would just, I would ask that we talk to Jody to investigate how we finance that. She may have some ideas.
Again, but I just want to emphasize, it's not our improvements, it's Norwood's improvements. Norwood's doing it all.
Right.
We're just paying them a fee for what they
And I
are willing
understand
to charge us. So we're not financing any, we're not paying any interest.
I-
We're paying as we go. And the town hall wants to get into this finance all the time, and Pradeep is
Oh,
right.
Right, you know what? He has concerns for some reason. Let her come to our meeting, and we'll talk to her about this. So have her show up here,
Okay.
and we'll talk to her about that. Because if, this going back, this is nebulous. you know.
Well, let me just ask, are you agreeing with any of those criteria? Are you just in agreement of the 5 million?
Oh, you're asking me?
Huh?
You're asking me, or?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have a disagreement with what you're saying. I'm just suggesting having another set of eyes look at it, particularly somebody who's involved, you know, with finance all the time. She may have some, or she may say, no, that's the best. That's all.
Has she
And
ever-
if you think otherwise, then, you know, we'll go ahead with whatever.
It's common knowledge what we're doing. And she's never made any comments to you or anybody else about how to finance this project?
No.
I mean, we've been talking about this for years now.
Yeah.
And,
Go ahead, let's just go about
So, okay, so if you think, you know, we can leave no stone unturned, we'll have her come up and we can ask her some questions about it. Because, but it does sound good to me that we're not, you know, pushing this can down the road, so to speak, that we're being kind of fair, but we're having some of it bonded and some of it paid by the ratepayers. Because the bonded, that means our grandchildren are gonna pay for it. Okay, and some people think they should, but, I think it should be kind of divided, and I think that's a very good way to do it, is that we take responsibility for part of it, and the future users take some responsibility for what they're getting.
Yeah, we're using our enterprise funds the way we use them for a one-year current need. And the ratepayers are paying the upgrade of the capital structure and infrastructure of the system, water system itself. And then down the road, future ratepayers are paying for.
Yeah, that makes
Which,
sense
and I
to
don't,
me.
yeah, I mean, she can, as far as I'm concerned, Jody can, if she wants to advise about the funding, the financing of the pump house or something, that's fine, but that's really what I'm trying to do is, I wanna make sure the town administrator Norwood doesn't walk away. That I just wanna get back to him and say, we have voted, cause it was keep being painted, we haven't decided on,
Okay,
on the location, and so forth and so on. I'd just like to get it solidified that he knows. we
I
do
think
plan
that's
to
a
go
good
ahead.
idea, to
What?
go on the record so that Norwood knows. and-
Exactly, that's
yeah.
all I'm trying, not saying that you can't change it later, Bill, if there's a better deal or something.
so can we have our superintendent invite her to our next meeting?
No, I'd just like to take the vote first, to make
Oh,
sure
okay,
there's not
okay,
3
sure,
votes.
all right, go ahead.
All right, so, moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Absent.
Abstain. Bill?
I was an aye.
Oh, okay, so it's 3-0-1. And I'll have that letter for you at the next meeting,
Good,
okay?
okay.
Thank you, thanks, Bill. Jarvis Farm,
Yeah,
The
what-
famous thing, did we get any results? I know you can't be, if they didn't give them to you, you don't have them, I know.
Results from,
The testing, they were looking at another spot over there.
no, so we haven't started the sonic drilling yet. I talked to our consultant, and it was early March, so we're hoping the next month, now that winter's kind of over, things are kind of getting unfrozen again. Hopefully, everything starts happening again pretty fast.
And where's the parking lot working into this?
So again, last meeting, I presented you guys with the updated plan slash survey, and that's where we stand right now. If you guys want to give me further guidance, I can take it.
Well, in the meantime, you know, I don't wanna see cars parked right in the watershed there, right next to the pond. I think they should be at least on the road. And I don't see any type of, sign or anything saying, don't bring your car into the watershed.
Well, I think what they're doing, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, they're using the mitigation, the stormwater mitigation from the neighborhood
Yes,
to fund this work.
Are you talking about the stormwater improvements?
Yeah.
That's through a municipal vulnerability protection grant.
I don't want it, I want them to be aware that we're talking about protecting the aquifer. That's the most important thing.
Well, the area is passive.
Yes, but is it going to negate us having a secure and environmentally safe parking area? That's what I want them to understand that. At the point,
You talking about the stormwater?
yeah, they're all connected, they're all in the same area.
Yes, we're redoing some of the grading and making sure the water is catching certain areas and not washing out the road how it has been.
I don't care about the road, I care about the drinking water, because it's an aquifer first. And I want that to be a priority. I don't care about the vehicles. We can get them in there in emergency. There's other ways to get in there, you know that.
Oh, yeah, we can come in via Washington Six if we
Yeah.
had to.
Right, so, that's what I'm saying, this is something, but it's not something that really is of highest priority.
So Jarvis Farm, it is a passive area, as I understand it, correct? For passive recreation, the day camp in the summertime?
But it's,
Well, not
most
anymore.
importantly, it's an
They're not
aquifer.
running a day camp.
They're
That,
not
the recreation part is
Just
not
the
why we
softball.
bought this. The Sewer and Water Commission bought this. We bought it because our consultants told us to buy it because it's a great place it's a very important place to own. If we own it, we can control it, and we can make sure it stays a viable aquifer. And if you start to mess with that, that's not what I think should happen.
Okay, does the board want to give me direction on where you want me to take this?
Well, I think, I'm getting confused now. There was money for a survey for a parking lot, that was one thing.
That was done, I think.
Yeah, that was, it took a long time, but it was finally completed.
So that, well, the survey was done, right? It was finished, you don't just have the money.
Correct.
Yeah. And this stormwater thing.
It's
has
completely
come up,
it's completely separate.
But it's still in Jarvis Farm.
Yes, so the stormwater, it identified multiple issues around on town-owned properties was linked to stormwater. So part of the remediation that we're doing a project here in the DPW, and one project funded through a grant is gonna be at Jarvis Farm.
And that, will that help or cause a risk to that potential parking lot?
From the plans I saw, no, because it's capturing the water coming down Eleanor by the sewer station, and there's kind of like the low-lying area, and it's putting that bioretention pond right, if you kind of follow it down to the beach, right about there. And it's gonna be a small footprint. It's not gonna be a giant bioretention pond.
Is there gonna be a culvert?
It's gonna be a bioretention pond, and then there's gonna be some piping under the road, and there's gonna be probably some riprap where it kind of outfalls by the beach.
So it's gonna feed the beach water.
Yes.
But it's gonna clean the pond up?
Well,
Or
the,
just-
the water that's, when the water is gonna hit the bioretention pond, do its filtering there, and then from there, it's gonna flow to the beach.
I'd like to see the, where's this water originating?
Basically Eleanor and,
Morningside.
is it Morningside?
Eleanor is a little bit closer to the center town. Morningside.
Yeah, I'm confused with the two roads.
Okay, is it coming from the catch basins? Is it surface water? What is it?
No, it's runoff water that's not making it in the
It's
catch basin.
runoff water from the streets.
The streets and the land. If you walk the area now, you'll see there's a lot of runoff that's creating its own kind of paths right now through Jarvis Farm property.
Yeah, because, that's, you're taking a street, they're not clean. I mean, they have cars going over them, and they have gasoline spilling on them, and oil and everything else.
We're not directing catch basins from, I believe, Eleanor or Morningside. It's the runoff that's not being captured already.
Are those,
Do they have catch basins on Morningside?
I drove through it, and I believe there are. I don't know if they drain very well, if they're directed anywhere, but there are catch basins.
are they environmental catch basins?
I don't know the specifics on them.
Oh, that's important. I mean, we don't want to add anything to the aquifer that wasn't there.
I mean,
Enough things.
this plan was vetted by, a town-sponsored consultant,
We were never informed about this until it was kind of,
I believe it was brought in front of you guys before last fall town meeting.
but it was, I think it was kind of vague, if I recall seeing that article. Anyway, that's my concern. I don't want to ruin our aquifer, and that's for the public water to drink.
I think if anything, this will improve the runoffs, the way it flows. And if there is an issue, at least now it'll be caught in this bioretention pond.
So, that's it.
Yeah, to be continued.
Yeah.
All right, then we're right down to meters to cash, which is the deeps.
Any update on billings like you have?
Yeah, I got an update from Derek this morning. Just so you know, on the new meters, the new Badger beacon, we have 596 meters installed.
Wow.
49 people are signed up using the app.
It's great, by the way.
Oh, good.
I
I'm glad you got in.
Yeah, the other property too, I'd
Yep.
like to see, that's even more important, because nobody watches that.
Yep. Right now, they are just finished up cycles 10, 11, 12, and 13. The read dates were November 11th through February 11th, and they will be mailed out March 12th. I counted that's 29 days.
There was a regular monthly report about the revenue, I think, we used to get,
They both arrived, production and the revenue numbers arrived
okay.
after the date, the cutoff date.
this last quarter, so maybe next time we can include in the packet.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not a problem.
I sent them already to Terry and said, put it on the next meeting,
Okay.
but they both did not arrive in time for the.
Also, you weren't here last meeting, but we met with our billing company, and we're starting the process of going through a conversion to the newest software. Right now, we're about 20 years from the latest version. With this next jump, it's going to make things a lot more click-friendly for us and improve a lot of our processes.
Yeah, I was mostly looking to jump into the monthly billing cycles, not to wait at least, 3 months or something, or 3 months plus whatever the lag time you have, 4 months. So that will give you more efficiency, not only in a revenue cycle, but also to detect any leaks or anything. So if you're going towards a monthly cycle, I think that's a very welcome thing. If your software or billing company can help you to go towards the monthly billing, that would be very great.
Okay, I think that's just about it. I just would make one other comment, in reference to.
INI fee too, we didn't get that.
All right, in reference to the passing of Ricky Mattson, people at home, if anyone, there was two things that if you want to do something to memorialize, they have Angel MSPCA donations to the MSPCA Angel Animal Shelter in Huntington Ave, Boston. And also, there is a GoFundMe page available. So again, our sympathies to the family. Go ahead.
No, the last thing there is the INI fee.
Right.
Yeah, and what we were talking about, and I sent you folks an email trying to explain. I'm not as eloquent as the people who wrote that. So but that's what basically should be happening. We can't balance, the INI on the backs of the ratepayer. We need to, we need to have the people who are using it to maintain it. In other words, and it's kind of interesting, sewers are a little bit different than most utilities. They usually run at 1/3 of their capacity. Okay, that's what their normal run is. And of course, their gravity. And they're not under pressure, but they're influenced by inflow and infiltration, as we know. And as the sewer gets older and older, water pipes are welded together. These aren't exactly welded together. And they develop ways for groundwater and pump people getting access to it that isn't legal. And that increases the flow. That flow, of course, goes to the MWRA, which charges us by the gallon. And the less water we send, the less the bill is. So if somebody is going to put in, and I'm not talking about houses, I'm talking about people who are putting in more than 15,000 gallons, they need to take out 15,000 gallons if there is inflow and infiltration. And I think we've done surveys to find that out. And I don't know, unless you do, what's the status of our sewer system now? How much leakage are we getting? How much water are we producing, and how much water is turning into sewage? And that kind of information is what we know. We don't know, but you do, right?
I don't have the exact figures, but I do know during big rain events, we do see increased water through.
Do you know how much?
I don't know the exact numbers, but it is noticeable on the daily rates.
Where's it coming from? We know it's the rain, but.
It's a rainwater.
How is it getting into the pipes?
I would say either through people pumping through their basements, infiltration through manholes.
Haven't we fixed all those yet? I mean.
On a continuous basis, we are, yes.
Okay. We do smoke tests.
So we have MWRA grants that we work with, and we have pipe companies in on a rotating schedule going through sections of town, which includes smoke testing.
Have we done smoke tests?
I believe the past year we did a couple sections of town, yes.
And did we find any?
That I am not completely sure on, but I will get back to you.
Oh, okay. We need, first of all, to find out how much, the water we produce and how much water is being sent to Deer Island. So we need to know that ratio. So for the next meeting, we'll have I on here. Can you get us a ratio of what's?
Yeah, and I think the MWRA can tell us exactly how many
Well,
gallons we're giving them.
No, the
Yeah.
point is, you produce the water, okay? They have a meter that's, I hope it's still there, or it is there, right? They have a meter at the town line,
We actually read a meter daily, yes, on the road line.
their meter?
It's, I think it's ours/theirs, yes.
Okay, so we need to know the difference between the production and the outflow.
Okay.
Patrick,
Okay.
I have a question.
Can I just suggest on the phase 11, 12, 13, you know, the MWRA, if we could get the amount of gallons that they discovered,
Okay.
that would be useful.
Patrick, two questions. 15,000 gallons, is that per day, per month? What is that?
15,000 gallons is what the state says.
Per
For
day or?
what period, time period?
Oh,
It's per day.
per year, no, what is it? I forget, what
It's
is
per
it?
day,
This-
you've written
No.
per day.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
okay.
I'm
So,
not
so
sure on
that's
that.
one thing. The second thing, can we incorporate that into a slab-based sewer rate? Because as of now, it's flat rate for the
We can do
master-
anything.
Yeah, so instead of
As
introducing.
far
a-
as for rates, the commission has the authority to do whatever we need to do for the rates, or whatever, use whatever formula we wanna use.
Yeah, so the sewer should be, slab-based rate for the very high consumption. I'm not talking about the, the
Yeah.
residential.
Yeah,
but-
I
but
think
at
the
least-
town was under the impression that they lost the court case about I&I. That is not true. That was an agreement between the town and this particular entity. And I think that's
No, which
where-
is fine, but putting a slab of sewer rate is within our purview. So
You
we
could,
should be able
sure, you
to
could do.
cover the I&I
Yeah, if you,
cost.
See, because the issue really, I mean, you were intimately involved in this. You have many times said Walpole's system was designed to sewer the entire town.
that is correct.
Okay.
And
So, well, let me just go.
we pay
So,
for
so
his-
only
we
half
pay
the
for his
town
ability.
is sewered, Joe, right?
Hmm?
Only half the town is sewered.
About 5/8.
Very less.
Just-
Okay,
So
so
it's a little bit more than half.
a little more than half, so we're not even, we're using half
Right.
of what the capacity is, that's the
But
first
we are
thing.
using more than half.
The second thing is, what people have reported in the past is, they can't find the I&I. So what you're doing is charging people to spend a fortune on engineering and studying, running around, trying to find out
Okay.
where there's leaks, and they can't find
Well,
any.
that's fair
So-
enough.
well,
That's
no,
our
no, well, let
job.
me finish. No,
Yeah.
but I don't, you're assuming there's leaks. I think, there might be some leaks, but I think part of the system, part of the design is the system, is to provide, the way the pipes are put together is precisely to provide some viscosity and allow some water to infiltrate, to keep the pipes moving. I don't think it's designed, they could have welded the pipes together. I think that's part of the process. But to make somebody who's coming in, I don't mind if they pay a fee or there's some kind of a program, but to say you've gotta go out and find I&I that doesn't exist, that's just a waste of everybody's money and time. That accomplishes nothing.
It's funny you should say this, because it's absolutely amazing, because in the old days, right, when the sewer system was built in Boston, and I've been working for them many years before I went to the school department, they took the leaders from your gutter, right? They brought it down, and you sometimes see these pipes along the brick buildings, these big black pipes. They were to go into the sewer and clean the sewer and pump it out to Calf Island, which was the old sewer pumping station that pumped the stuff out to the Atlantic Ocean and polluted everything. Okay, yes, that is true. They used to use water as a way of, so they wanted more water in those days. Then finally they realized that was crazy.
Well, yeah,
That
but,
you don't want more water, you want less water, so you can treat it and,
they should have a
Send it.
gray water system. I mean, the MWRA
We
is,
do.
no, the MWRA is behind the times, because they shouldn't just be metering the water that's going through the pipe. They should take into account what's gray water and what's waste that needs to be treated. They should be recycling. The MWRA is behind the sign, behind the
Well,
times.
they actually do that job.
And we, I think we have to think about, sure, if somebody's coming in and it's a certain scale, the size of the project, as Pradeep says, there's a way to come up with a scale to charge them for entering the system, but not have somebody running around,
Okay.
just hiring all kinds of engineers
All
and
right.
wasting a lot of money.
Do you ever hear of Nut Island? Okay, you go in,
That's right over here somewhere, isn't it?
Nut Island's in Quincy. So the water that comes from our main interceptor that runs here, it goes to a place called Nut Island. Nut Island is a place where they sort of separate the water. Like you said, that's what they do. They're not behind the times, they're right with it. They separate
Well,
out
they
the
shouldn't
water.
charge us for, they should back pay us for the water they separate that, because they're not treating it.
Well, they treat all the water, but they don't treat it all the same, because, like you say, it's different.
Okay,
Anyway, it goes from Nut Island, certain effluent goes to Deer Island, which was then reprocessed, because that's the hard stuff to process, and then it's sent out to the ocean. Okay, so, think of this though. Walpole was the only town on the system, MWRA water system, that during that 150-year-old or 50-year storm we had, where everybody's basement was flooded back about 10 or 12 years ago, we're the only municipality that did not have surcharges. Every other town in our sewer area had sewage running in this public streets. We can't have that. And we were the only town that did not have that, because we had I&I and we were fastidious in repairing our sewer system, and that's a big feather in the cap of the Sewer and Water Commission.
all right. Good. All right,
Make a motion to adjourn.
please, thank you. Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
400. Thank you, gentlemen.